Hello and welcome to Friday Art with me, Cate Field. How are you? Today we're diving into one of my favourite ways to create, collage. We're going to be using scraps of paper, old magazines, newspapers and whatever else you might have tucked away in a drawer somewhere. And for our inspiration this week, the natural world. It's the textures, the shapes and the gentle surprises. So leaves and seed heads and stones and feathers and stuff like that, but not in a literal way. We are not aiming for perfect pictures. We're capturing a feeling, a form, a moment. This session is all about playing with materials, trusting your eye and letting that torn paper and texture lead the way. No pressure. No rules, just a bit of glue and some scraps and your imagination. So gather your bits and pieces and let's create something wild and wonderful together.
Well, I do hope you are well. It's I will give you a weather update. We've gone a bit cloudy. I live on top of a hill and at the moment the cloud has come down, so my beautiful view is not to be seen at all. Oh well, never mind. Right, what are you going to need? What I really love about this particular idea is that you can use all your leftover bits. So I've been doing quite a bit of painting over the last few days. I've got loads of paint on my palette that I haven't used up, so I'm going to be using a bit of that. I've got some leftover wrapping paper, I've got some collage papers, a bit of sheet music. I'm going to be using a bit of distressed ink. I might use some watercolours. The whole point is that you can use whatever you want. As a starting point, I am just using very cheap copier paper. Again, you could just use whatever you have lying around. I'm going to use a bit of a sponge. We're going to start off by creating some papers that are quite bright in colour. When I say, oh, excuse me, when I say quite bright, I mean actually very bright, because I was working with fluorescent pink yesterday. So do like a bit of fluorescent pink. This is a natural sponge. It gives fantastic texture. Look at that. And then a nice bit of very subtle yellow, don't you think? And what I'm going to do is to cover these pages, and these are going to be used as the first part of creating collage papers. I love doing this with my students, and like I said to you the other day, I see you as my students. So I hope you don't mind. Here we go. So look at that, gorgeous. I'm going to take another one. This is just such a good way to use up your leftover paints. Just put those, and obviously as the pink is mixing with that yellow, we're getting this gorgeous sunshiny orange, which is exactly the colour I need for today, seeing as I'm in a cloud. Keep dabbing to get that texture, which is what I want. I want to keep that texture. So we're going to do some collage papers using bright colours. I'm going to get some magazines out in a moment and find some nice bright colours for those. So there's a few stages to this, and you can do it all in one go, but I know that sometimes we don't have that sort of time, do we? And we have to limit ourselves because life gets in the way. There we go. I am really liking that one, actually. That is just gorgeous. Oh, that's there we go. I'd love to know what you're getting up to. Absolutely love reading your comments. Just, it's what a lovely community we have here. So friendly and supportive. like in the Facebook group. Oh my gosh, I love that group so much. If you'd like to join our lovely, friendly Facebook group, you are very, very welcome. There we go. The link is below. I'm going to pick up a little bit of purple. And the other thing that we can do, because this is so thin, this paper, it just works really well. So we can just do a little bit over the top of that, pull that up. Oh, look at that. That's quite nice, isn't it? Let's splodge that over. This is very much playtime. And I've said so many times in my tutorials just how important it is to allow ourselves to play. I even wrote a book about it, which I know that some of you have read. So thank you for your feedback on my book. The Art of Play, it's called. There we go. And I have to say, it was actually great fun writing it. So here we go. So I'm going to do a few more of those, but you're getting the idea. I'm now going to get some more of the collage papers, and that will be our next step. So what I've done is just torn out some pages from various magazines. So this is from Vogue, and then I've got House and Garden magazine, and then some gardening and adventure stuff. But what I was really looking for are bright colours that are going to go onto my collage page. So what I'm doing is just using a ruler just to tear some of these up. I like to use a ruler to tear. At this point, I don't want to use scissors. I don't want a really straight edge. I just want to get a collection of colours together. I do like using magazine print. I think you can get some exciting textures, and you're never quite sure what you're going to get. And I think I've said this to you before, but whenever I do this sort of stuff with my younger students, it's getting them to stop being distracted by the articles in the magazines. It's very funny seeing a load of 16-year-old boys reading about women's fashion and cooking and stuff. It's lovely. Great fun. Anyway, I'm going to do all that, collect different things. Again, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm not sort of dwelling, as I say. I'm just going a bit instinctive, I think is the word I'm looking for. And then when we start to put some of these images together, you'll see what I mean when we kind of have this idea of juxtaposition, and it makes something very exciting, I think. Look at that beautiful butterfly. See, that's me getting distracted again. So I'm going to put all these together. I'm just going to use a glue stick. Where's my glue stick? Just going to use a glue stick. You could use PVA glue. You could use double-sided tape, although I am a bit rubbish with double-sided tape. I just get very sticky with it. It's probably just me. Again, I'm just going to stick these onto a piece of, oh, here we go, copier paper. So nothing fancy at all. I'm going to start to layer these just to see what could be quite fun. I might break up some of them, tear them up a bit more, but you can see the sort of thing. I will come back in a moment and show you what I've done. So I've completed these two. These are 2 A4 sheets, so sort of letter size paper. And I'm going to leave them to dry completely. They're not too bad, but I'm really loving the colours. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to just have some neutral shades. So I've got some papers here. They're in these kind of more muted colours. So this is going to be in contrast. I've just got some newspaper here. I'm just going to do it actually on the newspaper because you don't want it too thick with collage because you want to be able to cut it out and stick it into other pages and things like that. So you don't want to use paper that is too thick, and that's why it's just brilliant that we can just use really cheap leftover bits that we've got lying around. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take my kind of more neutral pages. I've got some other newspapers that have faded a little bit, which is really quite nice. A few other bits and pieces, and I'm going to do 2 more in these more neutral colours. So I've done 2 more sheets here. I'm now going to put a bit of white paint. I'm going to be using just some very cheap acrylic actually, just to kind of knock back some of the colours. I just want this much more muted, and I'm just going to sort of play around with it really just to see what I need. I might use another sponge, which I've just lost. I can't find my sponge. Don't know where that's gone. Here we go. Let's again, I'm just sort of dabbing some white, and I'm just going to push it around the page a little bit just to bring these together. I am going to add a little bit of black, but not very much. I just want this kind of grey hue to this. And this is kind of, oh, I've got a bit of pink on it, which is not what I wanted. Oh dear. Sometimes things don't go exactly as planned, do they? But that's okay. That's fine. Right, I'm going to use a bit of watercolour actually. I just want to, you don't have to use anything fancy. And I don't use this bit of colour very much at all. Just a bit of black watercolour. Splodge it over this a little bit. So I don't want it too dark. Just, oh, I'm quite liking that. Yes, that's better. That's better. Right, let's just move that one. We're going to do something similar to this. So I've got some of the black on the sponge. Just sort of bringing these colours together. And you know, you can do this, and if you feel that it's too dark or too light, you can just go over it again. You know, it's fine until it's the kind of hue and tone that you want. We are going to be cutting these up, so it's really just about the colours and textures. Do a little bit more on that one. I'll look at them when they're completely dry, and then if I feel that they need a little bit more, I can do that. So I've got those like that. I'll leave those to dry, and I've got these ones, and then I've got the first lot I did. So we've got 3 different types of collage paper, and now we're going to move on to the next step. So these are the ones that I did at the beginning. They're dry, and I'm just going to start to tear them up into sort of quite large shapes to begin with. This one, just to pop that one over there. And then we're going to start to put these on to another sheet. So we'll mix those up a little bit. And then, a bit like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? Just going to sort of layer them across You see, like that, you can just put these like that. Again, I will just use a glue stick to put that in place, quite like that. You spend some time just moving the papers around until you get something that works for you. I'm going to do this for another 2 sheets of paper, and then I will end up with lots of lovely papers to work with. Wow, look at these. I'm very pleased with how these have all turned out. Let's just lift that up a little bit more. That's better. Okay, so we're now moving on to the next bit, and we're going to be cutting out some shapes from these, and I'm going to be putting them onto some black paper and some white paper, and in my sketchbook as well. We can get very distracted by the patterns, so I'm just going to turn these over in the first instance. I'm going to use a black pen so that you can see the shapes. Normally I wouldn't, I would just use a pencil. And I'm going to do some leaves. Again, I'm doing it on the other side of the page so that I'm not influenced. This pen is about to run out, but that's okay. I'm not influenced by the patterns on the other side because that's not important. I'll put those in. I'm also going to do like a curved piece like this, and I'm going to do some circles. This pen really has died, hasn't it? So I'm just going to get my scissors and cut these ones out, and I will use the leftover bits as well. So I have kind of put these together, but so I won't know quite what it all looks like until we cut them out. Right, these are obviously just simple leaf shapes. Quite like those, they look lovely. They'll be really good. And the other long bit as well. I'm going to flip this one. This is the magazine one over. Let's just get a pencil for this one. And this one I'm going to do, this is going to be like a cactus. Sort of funny little quirky cactus shapes, I think could be quite fun. I'm going to do some leaves as well. Do some smaller leaves. Just using the paper. I'm going to do some circles. Like that. And what else am I going to do? Maybe just sort of bit of a kind of an oval type shape that could be a petal. Something like that. Another circle there. So you get the idea. And I'm going to do the same for this one as well. And obviously this was the, oh, that's not very good. This on the newspaper, I'm just going to do some semicircles. You'll see what I do with those in a moment. Let's do some more of these ovals. Like that, another circle. That's another cactus type thing. I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm going to cut those out and I'll show you what I do in a moment. So I've started to put some of these together so you can see what it looks like on the black paper. I'm just playing with the composition a little bit here. It's quite fun. Well, it's very fun actually. So these are just sort of from some flower ideas. I might do something with those. The nice thing about collage, you can just sort of play around with some of the shapes. So this is my cactus. This was This was fun. Oh, now I've lost the orange one. But you get the idea. And then with the more neutral ones, you could have something that's, it looks different. Let's just sort of put these, I'll show you what I mean. And when you start to put them on the page, you can think about, oh, actually, I need to change the shape a little bit. And that's fine, isn't it? You can absolutely do that. Let's just take that stalk. We could kind of perhaps play. But can you see how the silhouettes start to work? And I really like this because you're planning it, but it's still a little bit unexpected and you're not quite sure what is going to happen. So I'm going to play with these for a little while and I'll come back and I'll show you what I do, and then we'll finish off with the last little surprise. Well, these have been great fun to do. I've still got lots of little shapes. I've just mixed up the bright ones with the more neutral ones, and I hope you can see that you could do so many things with this idea. Now I've just put these onto black paper, but you could make these much smaller and have them as elements. You could use them for greetings cards, you could use them for other pieces of art. Now I did want to show you this one because what I want to do here is I'm just using a marker pen, just an acrylic pen. These are my little succulents, and I just wanted to show you just that you can add bits to your little creatures or your little plants, and this is the joy, I think, of mixed media, is that there are no rules for a start. So I'm just sort of building these up, and then you can put kind of lines across these. You can turn them into whatever you want, really. And I just think it's such an easy thing to do, and you can make it as crazy, as silly, or as sophisticated as you want, and that to me is an absolute joy. So let's just do something with this one. I'm going to get my it's just a Posca pen here. Let's go all the way around. Again, this is my sketchbook, so I'm just playing with an idea, really. So we have some of the petals as collage and some in pen. You could use paint, you could use crayons, you could just try other things out, but you mix it all up. Let's just do some fun here and see what happens. Well, seeing as this is turning into a proper mixed media, I thought I would add some watercolour. And I like this idea of just seeing what happens. It's one of those things that I sort of say to my students all the time. I want them to be trying out new things, and that's why I'm saying to you as well. I'm just so this is a sketchbook that I just made from very, very cheap, inexpensive paper, just to kind of pop ideas in. So it's not precious, and I think this is one of the things that people can get very bogged down with, really. You can start worrying because you're using a very expensive paper or beautiful sketchbook that you don't want to spoil. But I think that's just a bit of a shame, really. let's going to put a bit of background. But can you see, it just adds something. It's a bit of masking tape there, won't tape very well. But that's okay as well, isn't it? It doesn't matter. Oh, things moving about all over the place here. There we go. I would love to know your thoughts, whether I've given you a few ideas and you thought, oh yes, I know what I'm going to do. So are you going to do some little succulents, little cacti? You're going to do flowers? Or you're going to do something completely different, but with the same technique? Let me know.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that session, and if you want to see some more, I have got so many tutorials for you. You could try this one or this one. Let me know how you're getting on, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.